we have a really cool talk by a lady I'm really excited to get to hear. Her name is Miriam Fathalla. Did I say that right? Awesome. Yeah, come up here. We're gonna hear Miriam talk about translating these values into real world currency, or like the currency of love, I suppose. And I'm just putting these words in her mouth. Really, she's going to talk about what she's going to talk about. But I hope you guys can all make a welcome Miriam, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm glad you said I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about, because I kind of changed my mind. Hi! Oh my gosh, there's so many people here. I came to Burning Seed for the first time last year, and there's so many more people. It's really exciting. So hi, I'm really excited to meet you all. And are you guys all excited to meet each other? Or if you haven't already met each other, let's all be really lovely friends. Okay. So hi, my name is Miriam. I live in Geelong.
Wow.
Yeah. Come on, let's hear it. Yes! Chi-Town Pride! Woo! I love Geelong. I love that city a lot. And I work with a really great team of people to produce a festival there called Figment, which is an interactive experiential art festival based on 10 principles you might have heard of before. And we add an 11th of gratitude. And the idea is that we bring this awesome opportunity to connect with ourselves and with each other and our communities and our capabilities of people that we find here at Burn events and these cultures of possibility. We bring it home. And we do it for free. So people don't have to find the time to get off work or to drive all this way, although the pilgrimage is really, really valuable in and of itself. But we bring it home so people who necessarily wouldn't come to these kinds of events, they get to experience it and then realize how awesome they are. So anyway, I'm really, really happy to talk to everybody about Figment more and about more Figments happening in Australia, because we started in Geelong, but we're definitely not going to end there. But what I want to talk about now is how everything in my life seems to be synergizing and dancing in this really crazy, beautiful choreography that nobody could have ever come up with, right? It just happens. Do you guys feel that too? Does that happen for you guys? I had a feeling, yeah? It couldn't be just me. So I went to the Big Burn in the States this year, and I didn't get it. I didn't get this cargo cult thing. I thought it was really weird. Everybody has these weird, like, broken airplane things happening everywhere, and I'm like, what are you trying to say, right? But I have to admit, like, traipsing through airports and security and customs, and then even getting in, like, the world's smallest car with the way too much stuff that I brought to come all the way up the highway here, I felt like my own personal little cargo cult. Yeah, I had all this crap of stuff that I thought I needed to survive, what I needed to express myself, to be comfortable, another word I'm going to come back to, magical things that I surrounded myself with to tell me who I am. And when I came back to Australia a couple weeks ago and I started doing some reading, I'm studying this stuff in a way, actually, like post-grad proper study stuff. I'm reading this stuff on anthropology and the invention of tradition, and I suddenly got it. I got it. So even though I saw all of the big effigy of the man on top of a what was it, a big UFO, you guys saw pictures of that, yeah? If you weren't there, you were there, or you saw the pictures. I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't get it. There were slides, that was cool. Lots of art of religion and colonialism and aliens in outer space, but I didn't get it. So do you guys know what a cargo cult is? Yeah? Okay, we're going to talk about it. I'll give you like a little heads up. So basically, it's a cultural phenomenon that's happened throughout history when explorers or other representatives of outside world come and descend upon populations with material wealth and technologies that these people have never seen or heard of before. So without any idea of where these foreigners and their endless supplies have come from, they naturally suspect that it's somehow related to magic or it's come from the spirit world. So that's where you get this cult mentality and worship. So when these people disappear, what happened after World War II, especially in Melanesia, when American GIs descended upon these islands and they came with jeeps and radios and spam, which was very popular, then they disappeared because the war was over and they didn't be there anymore. So people would, some of the people there would set up, they'd build fake airstrips and piers and ports, and they'd play airport. They would literally run around so it looked like an airport was happening, because they thought maybe for these crazy gods with American accents that descended from the sky for no reason, maybe that would make them come back to a hospitable home. Of course, they didn't come back, and a lot of these cargo cults have disappeared, but some of them are still around. And there are people there who actually worship, or at one end of the spectrum just recognize, or up to the worship, a guy called John Frum. And the John Frum thing happens with, they expect that some of the American soldiers would go to introduce themselves. They say, hi, I'm John from Tallahassee. I'm John from Detroit. I'm John, right? So the John stuck and the from stuck and these weird names of places they're from fell away. And then boom, this God now has a name. He's John from. Is that okay? So yeah, we're all caught up. Okay, awesome. Next page. Beep. So explaining the theme on the website, on the Burning Man website for this year, they said, like the islanders, most of us are removed from the cargo that shapes our lives. We don't know how it's made, where it's made, how it works. All we can do is look beyond the sky and pray for magic that will keep consumption flowing. Each of us must find our inner from. The organization faced a lot of criticism and accusations of practicing cultural elitism for this theme. They're accused of insensitivity, mocking, and appropriating indigenous culture, and there was even a petition for them to change the theme because some people thought that it was off color. But you know what? I'm really glad that they held fast, and they asked us as a community to question, who is John from? Where is he really from? And where on spaceship Earth are we all going? Because here's where my newly found anthropological knowledge is dancing in there. Because here we go. We live amongst a self and co-created social structure. I think here in the city that we've just created this week, we know this, yeah? Okay. And this is a result of unconscious and conscious habits. We produce social life through our actions. We are actors on a stage where our actions contribute to the creation of the stage itself. Whole meta dance. It's beautiful. So that means things can change. In fact, they're constantly changing. Culture is emergent. It's multiple. It's hybridized. We are emergent, multiple, and hybridized. New people here, and I am really, really awesome. I'm so excited about that. It's awesome. And at a lot of the other events. So Burning Man itself is selling out, and there's heaps more people there. The gates were shut this year. People even with tickets couldn't come in until other people left. All the regionals are booming. We've got other events, people just throwing parties in their own towns, in their own homes. We're all kind of getting it, right? It's all happening. But we need to be a little bit clear about what it is and who we are. Otherwise, those definitions can get misused and can get a little bit confused, right? So I believe that the Cargo Cult theme was asking us as burners, new and old, to reconsider and question the power and meaning that we attribute to the event, to the symbol, to the label, to the logo. The organizers are asking to not be cast in the role of John from. We don't want to consider them the givers of the pseudo-divine knowledge and practices and recognize that they're just offering a distorted or new way of seeing things. But the magic, the meaning of those traces that are left behind, we say leave no trace, but make your mark, right? Yeah. Those traces that are left behind, not the broken airplanes or the radios of the past, but the swag or the pictures of the YouTube videos or that feeling when you reconnect with someone you met on playa or paddock. That magic doesn't come from them. It doesn't come from the playa or the paddock. It comes from us. Right? So I think the organizers chose that to highlight the concept of Cargo Cult, to realize that they don't want us to follow the precepts of Burning Man as a blind and faithful. It's about us. We mustn't admire and venerate the event. It's a mistake to think that that's something that only happens there, but it's something that's bigger. It's bigger than that. It's in all of life. Have you guys had the experience where you're in the city where you're supposed to be like all boring and I'm on my way there and I don't have time to sit and talk to you and then just you get that little feeling of the magic, right? And yes, right? And you remember that the playa's in you, the paddock's in you. You're always there as soon as you choose to be in that frame. So, I'm a little bit of a hippie, okay? Yay for hippies, yeah, thanks. We build the cargo that shapes our lives. And we can expand our boundaries, and I feel like that's what this whole experience is about. We are the ones that create our reality. So there's this constant metamorphosis, this continuous ongoing change in our culture, Burning Man, burner culture, in its forms and possibilities. Because the culture that we live is threatened and criticized by the culture we create. Does that make sense? Because we're constantly working within it. I say that a lot because that's kind of my thing. So, go with it, please. Does that make sense? Oh, oh, got it. The culture we live is threatened and criticized by the culture we create. It's good, right? And I think, again, the theme of this year's Big Bird, it invites us and encourages us to threaten and criticize Burning Man itself and Burning Man culture. The traditions, the beliefs, the dogma, the mythology that seems to be emerging now that it's been around for a while. And by criticizing and questioning it, we ensure its relevance and the fact that it will actually have a future. It's not just going to burn out. So, what about the jaded burner? You guys laugh because it's true, right?
Alan.
Okay, so who's been there?
Alan.
Yeah, okay, thank you for some truth. I've been there. I was there, and so I spent an hour at the gate this year. And I tell you what, if you're feeling jaded, you go hang out with some people who've